Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today to talk about Love You to Death, the Jodi Arias story. So, this is a Tubi documentary and a Tubi original documentary. And if you've seen kind of these true crime things that happen way after the fact, and it ends up just being kind of like a wrap up or a summary of the different news reports, then they bring in some like crime reporters from the time and court TV correspondents, stuff like that, podcast hosts. That's what happens here. It's just a lot of people discussing the case combined with news clips and archival material. So that's essentially what it is. It's a news recap of the story using archival materials, and then there are some new interviews sprinkled in. So there's not a lot of new information here. There's actually no new information here if you followed the case even lightly. But it is kind of a really brisk, look back at the case. The case is obviously, pretty wild. So it's always interesting to revisit it. And this does a fine job of like getting the information across in a way that's, brisk and easy to watch as far as watching content like this goes. But I didn't get a lot out of the interviews. That's court TV reporter or correspondent that's on like all of them. She doesn't really bring a lot to the table. It's just kind of like has big emotional reactions, but I guess that's entertaining from like a tabloid standpoint. And then there are also a bunch of like podcasters, and I'm not really familiar with the true crime podcast world, but there was one called Crime Hogs. I looked it up hoping it was what it sounded like, but it wasn't. It was just a regular true crime podcast that happened to be called Crime Hogs, but there's a bunch of weird podcast titles and the people that are on there. So there's not a lot of in-depth information here. There's not a lot of new ground or like new approaches to the case or whatever. It's just kind of a recap. But if you're interested in the case or you're interested in true crime, this is a decent watch. It goes by quick. Again, it's a Tubi original, so I'm assuming that's the only place you'll be able to find it. That's my review of Love You to Death. If you like the Jodi Arias story or you like true crime, give it a look. If you want to see more documentaries, reviews of documentaries and movies, you can check them out here in my playlist where you can see hundreds and hundreds of movie reviews. You can also visit my website, markfusion.com, where there's literally thousands of reviews available. Thank you for watching this one, though, and hopefully I'll see you soon.